Today I want to talk a little more about my homemade table saw. As you can see, I painted it blue, and I've also made those two push sticks so I don't get my fingers cut off. And I have also added a second knob to my fence, because it really had the tendency to rock around quite a little. Yes, and with this knob tightened, it's really solid. Now, I've been working with this saw for about a month now, and it has done a great job. I've also made this dial indicator jig, and with the help of that little thing I can adjust the blade angle really precisely. Yes, it's off for about 2/100 of a millimeter, so that's okay for me. Okay, there's one more thing I have modified, and this is those two holes in my MDF box, and I hope that with those two holes I will get a nice airflow through the box that will draw all the fine dust immediately to my shop vac connection, which is on the back side of this plate here, and so no fine dust will be sucked into my motor. So one guy had concerns about that this saw would not hold the blade angle if the weight of the motor pulls down when the saw is closed. But I can tell you that is not the case. I think because I have a knob to tighten down the blade adjustment in the front of the saw, and I also have one in the back. So I think that's the reason for the saw to hold the angle. I mean, I can't even rock this around with my hand if I really try to. This is really solid. So because some guys told me that they were interested in building such a saw for themselves, I will give you some of the measurements. The saw of the table is about 70 centimeters, and I think yes, it's 70 by 70, and yeah, the box is about the same. The height is about where? There. Okay, it's about 30 centimeters. Yes, and on my fence rail it's about 92. I've offset the saw from the. I first wanted to have the saw blade kind of in the center of this board, but I thought it would be better if we had a bigger kind of a bigger rib capacity here with my fence on the right side, because I feel comfortable with my fences on the right side. Probably because I'm right-handed, and I also wanted to have a big in-feed area, which is much bigger than my outfeed area, but I can always adapt a little additional outfeed area here, but to make a bigger in-feed area would be a little more difficult. Now the saw blade is about 40 centimeters offset from this side, and from the front to the center of the saw blade, it's about 42 centimeters. The miter slot goes about 30 centimeters, and I first wanted to have a second miter slot here, but that's actually not possible because the motor of the saw, which is on this side around here, goes that deep into this plywood board that if I would have cut a miter slot here, it actually would be blocked by the motor. Now the fence rail is an aluminum square tubing, and I screwed and glued it to this wooden plank that is screwed to the table of the saw, and it's also a little adjustable so you can square up the fence. Okay, someone asked how this fence works, and it's really simple. It's a plywood board, and I glued and screwed this strip of hardwood onto it, and this is exactly square to the face of the fence here, and it also rides fairly tight between the saw table and my fence guide here. And now when I tighten the knob, it actually forms a clamp here, and when I tighten it, the fence is pulled against this aluminum tubing and is then automatically squared to the table. Okay, here's the fence taken apart. I have embedded a nut down in this hole, and this is where the threaded rod bites into. If you watch closely, you can see how the fence is pulled towards this aluminum tube when I tighten down the knob. And now it's in place, and it is really parallel to my miter slot here. Yes. And I also measured it with my dial indicator jig, and it's off by about nothing. So this fence works really great. Now my front clamp, the clamp in the front of the fence, is just a knob, and the T-nut, I fitted a T-nut into it, and I made this L-shaped piece of wood that will squeeze the table against the fence if I tighten it. Now this is how the saw is attached. I routed this I routed away the whole area where the base of the saw and the motor go, and then I made those clamps here and here, and also one in the back, but I think I will add one more about here, and these hold the saw fairly tight. It hasn't moved. I've also made a zero clearance insert, and this is just regular plywood, and I added this sad-shaped hook at the back, and this will prevent this thing to be caught by the saw blade and kind of thrown at me. only one day after my previous homemade table saw video, I made this little table saw sled. Oh, it comes in pretty handy, and it's reasonably accurate, so it also does a good job.